So my name is Sara Modi and I'm going to speak on the topic the innate gender discrimination. So during our unit of discrimination and social responses, I had a lot of questions which were not related to our topic, which were more related to science than what we were studying. Questions like how much of the gender discrimination that we do is based on a conscious level? What role does our neurological system have to play in the stereotypes that are created? And can we find a solution to all of it? I was particularly interested in gender discrimination due to how large scale it is and how movements to counter it, like feminism, have gained popularity over time. So I wanted to know what caused it. So when I searched on Google, what are the causes of gender discrimination? I got a list of causes, all different and varying, but the most frequently occurring ones were illiteracy and society. Now these may be correct, but they were very broad-ended and made it seem like there was no exact cause. And yes, there are stereotypes which ultimately lead to discrimination, but what is it that causes this discrimination in the first place? I thought if I could trace back to my initial questions, I might be able to get the answers that I needed. So I based my research on psychological aspects of gender discrimination. And here's what I found. That all of us humans, male and female, are gender biased by default. That we carry around pre-collected biases without us knowing, and that it causes us to discriminate without us ever realizing. This happens because our brains are wired in a way that we don't need to think about all the decisions that we make throughout the day. Our brain just scans out for patterns in our surroundings, and when it finds them, it stores them as a representation of life or how things are supposed to be. Now this helps us make easier decisions, but there is one downside, that it does not always evaluate the accuracies of those patterns. So these patterns can be advertisements or movies or how a particular gender is portrayed in them. And these create long-lasting impressions in our brains about how a particular gender should indeed be. This is why people, based on their instinct, associated strength and leadership to masculinity, not because they consciously think so, but because their brains and the information that they collect cause them to believe that it is the case. When a male model gets his sexuality questioned just because of his occupation, it is because of these biases. So what I'm trying to say is that these biases harm all of us humans equally. They can mess with the opportunities that we get or how people perceive us without knowing a thing about us. They can stop us from making logical decisions. So if we decide to be consciously aware of what is going on in our brain and we try to not let that cloud our judgment, then it will be better for the society. And we have to stop thinking that society is what influences the individuals, but individuals are what make the society. And that's what we should believe. Thank you.